everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Discovery Pod with Eve. I am Eve Richards. I am so excited to be hosting today's show with my very good friend, actress Melissa Smith. Melissa actually started modeling when she was 7. She got into acting at 12. She did a lot of local commercials and some TV shows and plays in the Seattle area. However, Melissa decided to get married, and she had a kid, a son named Jaden. So she quit the business, but the acting bug kind of hit her in 2020. So she got back into acting in 2020. Most recently, though, Melissa made a huge leap. She actually left her friends, her spouse, her son Jaden, in the Seattle area, a place that she's accustomed to, and she relocated to LA. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to have Melissa here with me today. Melissa, welcome.
Thank you, Eve. I'm so excited. Thank you for having me on. This is like a blast. I'm so excited for this.
What a treat. You know, I was thinking back, and I was thinking of a time when you visited last year. You stayed with me. I don't know if you remember, I was going to Paris. It wasn't a fun trip.
Yeah.
I was actually going to bury my father.
Yes.
But I don't know if you remember any of this. I couldn't sleep at night. I was afraid. Emotionally, I was going through a very difficult time.
Yes.
And I remember once when you actually went to dinner, I left all the lights on because I was so terrified of being alone. Fast forward several months later, you took that huge leap and you moved from Seattle to LA.
Yeah.
You left Matt.
I did.
You left Jaden. And I saw how difficult it was. And I was there for you.
Yes.
And we were spending a lot of time together. And then I traveled, and after 2 weeks I came back. Here she is, working every single week. Oh my God, my girl is out there booking. So, tell our viewers, there are a lot of people out there who want to make that move for a job or whatever it is. How did you do it?
Well, you know, I'm lucky I have such a strong support system with my husband and my son. They were my biggest cheerleaders. And, you know, my husband pretty much told me, you know, it's either you're going to do it or you're not. And the biggest thing for me is I didn't want any regrets. And acting has always been a part of me. It's always been my passion. And I was coming here so much each time. I knew it'd be so much easier if I was here. And so I decided one day, we sat down, talked about it. I, you know, made a date, and we packed up the car and I moved down. And, you know, without a strong support system like you, my husband, Roger, everybody, I probably wouldn't have had the guts to do it, because that's leaving a lot.
Yes.
You know, I left my home, I left my family, I left my friends to start a whole new life.
Yes.
And I'm lucky that I have so many people supporting and encouraging, you know.
Incredible. I couldn't be more proud of what you've been able to accomplish. It's incredible. And it's something that we want to inspire
Absolutely.
people out there, because, you know, a lot of questions that I get from fans is, I see you on Instagram and you're always looking fab. But I'm like, you don't see 98% of what's behind the scenes,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And so I am incredibly proud of you because, gosh, within a few months, the list of things that you've done. Okay, everyone. So she's done TV shows like Equal Justice with Ebony Williams, Bosch, Legacy, Murder in the Heartland, and more. It's incredible, and I am so proud of you, and I'm so glad we're friends to support each other. Nothing in life is easy.
No.
You know, I've gone through a lot of challenges, which you saw emotionally, how difficult it was when I lost my dad. I was putting myself out there every day, but I want to thank you so much for being there for me during the most difficult, challenging times in my life that no one knew what I was going through, but I had to put myself out there.
Oh,
thank you.
No, thank you.
Your friendship means so much to me, and I'm so glad we can do this and hopefully inspire, because that's what we want.
Yes.
We want to inspire others.
Absolutely.
Whatever dream that you have, please go out and chase it.
Absolutely.
Don't be afraid.
100%. And like I said, if it wasn't, for you and our late night talks that we would have of, encouragement when I was I was down a lot thinking, what am I doing? And you were always saying, hey, everything happens, good will come, let's just put it out there in the universe, and we would have those talks, and you really picked me up when I was down a lot. So I thank you so much for being there for me and to invite me on this journey with you, because it's truly an honor, and I thank you for that very, very much.
Awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got an exciting show with us today. We've got a legendary actor, Sean Kanan. He's an actor, he's a chef, he's a prolific author. He is, he's recognized as one of the most well-known bad boys in daytime television.
Yes.
He's won an Emmy
Yes.
for Studio City.
Mm-hmm.
He played AJ Quartermain on General
Yes,
Hospital.
he
Oh my
did.
gosh! Wow, the list goes on, right?
It does.
Deacon Sharp in The Bold and Beautiful, and that crossed over to The Young and Restless.
Yes.
And he's also reprised his role as Mike Burns from the Cobra Kai
Yes,
series.
the bad boy of
And
karate.
did I forget? He was in Karate Kid 3.
Yes, he
when
was.
he was like 13 or I don't know.
No. He was old. He was, I want to say he was 21, 22 when he did that.
But he was young, right?
Yes.
So the list goes on in all of his accomplishments. Oh, did you know? He lived in Italy, or in Rome.
Yes,
He
yes.
speaks Italian.
He does.
And maybe Russian, if I remember correctly.
Sean is just so cultured. It wouldn't surprise me.
Wow. Not only that, he does stand-up comedy.
Yes.
He is a motivational speaker, everyone.
Oh.
So, you got to watch us on the Discovery Pod YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Tell your friends to watch this episode every Thursday. If you're going through stuff and you need someone to pick you up,
Yes.
this is the episode to watch.
Absolutely.
Watch us, or you can actually check us out on everichards.com. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, Google, Spotify, Apple, or anywhere the podcast is available. So, without further ado, let's welcome our legendary actor, Sean Kanan. Welcome. It's so great to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Misty. It's so great to see you and Eve.
You as well. My gosh, I'm so excited. So, little backstory. So, I met Sean when I was 16 years old. I don't know if he remembers that, but I mean, I was 16. I got signed to a publication here in Hollywood, and it was the publication party. And Sean was there as one of the guests. And I remember because the first time I saw him was in the movie Rich Girl. And I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, who is this guy?
Yes.
Just, having to fan myself.
My pivotal acting performance in Rich Girl, right? Yeah.
But it was just like, wow, okay. So he became my teenage crush.
Fangirl it. Yep.
Yes. So when I saw him at this party, I was like, oh God, I'm like hiding behind pillars going, oh geez, I didn't have any guts to talk to him. But I ended up getting the courage, got up, talked to him, and he was so fabulous, so humble, so nice. And it was just so, calming to me that somebody that handsome would be so amazingly nice. So, I mean,
incredible.
Yes.
Thank you. It's nice to say that. Was that at the SLS?
That was at the Palladium.
Wow.
The Palladium.
The Faces
wow.
International party at the Palladium. In
Right.
Hollywood.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
I was 16.
Long time, right?
It was a long time
Wow.
ago.
Wow.
So, and then, let's see, looking back, on your life, you were like 14 when you got into acting?
No, I came out to Hollywood in 1987. I was 21 years old and 22 when I did Karate Kid 3. So that's really when I started professionally.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I thought so. Because I knew that you were in your 20s when you did Karate Kid 3.
I was a pup.
You were a pup. And then you got into martial arts, and you were bullied when you were younger, correct?
Yeah, I was bullied. I was one of probably 3 Jewish kids that grew up in a pretty hard-scrabbled Western Pennsylvania steel town. Mm-hmm. And I was fat with a bad haircut and glasses, which is not exactly the trifecta for popularity. And very quickly found myself the target of bullies. And, it's something that I dealt with for a really long time as a kid, and then later dealt with for a very long time as an adult, because, bullying leaves tremendous scars. They don't just go away when you become a fully functioning adult. Yeah. And that's why I'm so impassioned by working with Buddha Bullying and other anti-bullying groups, speaking at schools, something very near and dear to my heart.
Amazing. Mm-hmm.
And what advice can you give to anybody that's going through those similar experiences? Because that does happen quite a bit.
Well, if you're a parent or a teacher, specifically a parent, my advice is this. You may only get one shot for your child to feel secure and comfortable enough to come to you and tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
Please be available. Please listen. Please hear them. Teen suicide is the 4th leading cause of death among adolescents.
Oh my God.
Bullying is a tremendous contributing factor to that. And, I know it's probably not politically correct to say this, but, for me, martial arts made a tremendous difference in not getting bullied anymore. And it's not just about learning to fight. It's really not, although that does kind of help. But it's about learning self-confidence. It's about learning humility and compassion and strength and esprit de corps by being in class with other students. And it really allowed me to feel good about something. And, if you're a kid and you're struggling and you have something that you're good at, because I believe that all of us have something special to share with the world, really focus on what it is that you're good at and shine it doing that. Yep. And if you're a parent, encourage your kids, if they sing, if they dance, if they like to act, if they, woodwork, whatever it is, everybody's got that one special thing. And when you find that one special thing that you're meant to do in the world, I think that really helps you shine in a way that, I don't know, it's like it gives you an inner confidence, and there's nothing bullies hate more than encountering somebody with confidence.
Incredible.
100%.
So, Sean, I feel like I already know you. In doing the research for this interview, I spent a lot of time just doing a lot of reading and watching some of your past interviews. And one of the things that really resonated with me was just how, first of all, how humble you are. Secondly, just how candid you are. And you talk about some of the struggles that you've gone through in the course of your career. But there was something that you mentioned last year about how your trajectory shifted in 2020 during COVID, which we all know was a very difficult time because of the global pandemic. One of the things that I really liked was when you mentioned how you wanted to give Michelle, your spouse, that life that you felt she deserved. So how did you overcome some of the challenges in 2020, which was a very depressing time for everybody?
Right. So I hit a point in my life right before I finished writing Way the Cobra. And I think, externally, I probably had a lot of the trappings of being a successful human being, but I felt myself rapidly slipping into mediocrity. And I knew that I was going to be the only person who could save myself. And I decided there was going to be no more of this waiting for my ship to come in crap. I was going to build the damn ship. I just had to figure out how to do it. And I made some very significant changes in my life, not the least of which was I stopped drinking. And I started doing things differently, and I started getting some amazing results very quickly. And as difficult as 2020 was for so many people, it was a really amazing year for me, because at the end of 2020 into 2021, I did back-to-back movies with Bruce Willis in Puerto Rico. I finished Way of the Cobra. And, I couldn't put that book out in good faith unless I was absolutely living my life in accordance with it. Because to me, that would just be the apex of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And I talk in the sequel to Way of the Cobra, which is called Welcome to the Kumite, about how writing Way of the Cobra was my last best effort at saving myself. And I needed the book as much as I wanted to get it out to everyone else. So, although I placed myself in the position of being the sensei, the teacher, the process of writing it and what I subsequently learned from all the students who've read it, has helped me as much as I hope that I've helped other people.
Incredible. Thank you for sharing. So inspiring. So
his books are amazing. He's helped my son. My
You
son's done
told
his
me.
seminars.
Yeah,
My
you
husband's
told
now
me.
listening to his Audible.
Jaden
Yeah, I'm
He's
excited.
moved
Michelle and I are actually writing the third book in the Way of the Cobra series. It's going to be called Cobra Couples.
Wow.
And we're writing it together. Yeah. And,
when is it coming out?
It's probably going to come out in May. And I just got confirmation from
Whoa.
Barnes & Noble at the Grove that we're going to be doing
Incredible.
book launch there in August. So I'm really excited about that.
Yes, we'll definitely be there to support.
We actually talked about it.
Yes, we did. I'll support anything Sean does.
Amazing.
I mean, he's just amazing.
Well, and I think that's something really important too. We are in a business that is very difficult, and it's not always known for people behaving with, the highest level of integrity and character, although there's some wonderful people in our business. Mm-hmm. And, I think it's hard enough without us not supporting each other. Yes. And so, you want to surround yourself with people that support you, that believe in you. Yeah. And you want to reciprocate that. And that's what I try and do.
You do. Yes. And you do 100%. Incredible. You have been there like no other. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
And you're doing stand-up comedy now.
What's funny is, you want to hear how funny life is? So I think I told you guys before that our little new puppy jumped off the bed and broke its arm. And I don't know, I guess I deal with anxiety sometimes with comedy. And my wife was like, okay, can you stop already? We got to get the dog to the hospital, just enough. And I said, Michelle, this is what happens when I haven't been on the comedy stage in a while. Uh-huh. And then I came to work. I was filming at Bold and the Beautiful, and the makeup guy who'd seen me perform before said, when are you going to perform again? I get back to my dressing room, and I get a call from my friend Mike Marino, who's a headliner. And he said, how'd you like to headline at the Comedy Chateau March 16th? And I was like, that is just so strange how the universe responds to you. So I will be headlining at the Comedy Chateau in Burbank, March 16th. And I hope everyone will come. Tickets are available now.
I will be there.
It's a really fun show.
I'm just not going to sit in the front, though.
Congratulations. That's incredible. Wow.
Very excited for you on that one. That's awesome. So I'll definitely be there for that. So another question there then. Would you ever do a Netflix special on it?
That's so funny you say that. That's very much something that I am working towards. I would love to do that. I'm not quite ready right now to do that for a number of reasons, not the least of which is not really having time. I just left to go film in Atlanta for like 3 weeks. And so I'm playing catch up here on Bold and the Beautiful. But when I can carve out some time to do that, and after I finish this next book, I would love to do a half an hour special.
That would be awesome. That would be so awesome to see. You got to do it. You have to do it.
So,
I will.
Sean, congratulations on your success on Studio City. You won an Emmy for producing with Michelle, producing and writing. Just based on some of the experiences you had on various productions over the years, what are you doing differently as a producer? One of the things that I was really sort of resonated with me was when you were a young person and you had to audition, and this person, the producer, had asked you to dress. You were half naked. So as a producer, someone
No, it wasn't half. It wasn't half naked. It was completely naked.
Wow. Oh, that's even worse.
It wasn't,
right?
and oddly enough, it wasn't. I'll tell the story really quickly. So the very first film I ever did, I got down to me and one other young guy, and they said, "Well, we need to see if you guys have tattoos." And I said, "Okay." And so they brought us each into this conference room. There must have been like 10 people, men and women, and they said, "Okay, take all your clothes off." And I didn't know any better.
Wow.
And I did. I got the part. And I'll tell you, I years later, I produced a film called Hack.
Yeah.
And we had a scene where one of our actresses needed to be topless. And, you have to check and see what the aesthetics look like, if she has tattoos, scars, etc. And I was really affected by what happened to me. Yeah. And so I said, I'm going to leave the room. I'm going to leave the director here. I'm going to leave another woman here so that you feel secure. And that's all that's going to be here. And I vowed to myself that I would never make another actor feel the way that I was made to feel, during that experience. Yeah. So it's funny, even sometimes with things that are painful and disempowering and catastrophic, with the expansion of time, you find a way in your life to turn them into a positive, make them become empowering. And so even though that was a horrendous experience, I learned from it.
Incredible. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Definitely. So my other question here is, how was it to reprise your role as Mike Barnes in Cobra Kai?
That was extraordinary. It really was. It's not very often in the business that you get a chance, another bite at the apple 35 years later. And, one of the, I don't want to say regrets, but, Mike Barnes was a very multidimensional, thuggish bully. Mm-hmm. And I was a very, very green actor when I played the part. And I was able to bring as much as I could to it. But, now as a guy that's done over 1,000 episodes of TV and I've done 25 films, just my toolbox is bigger. Mm-hmm. And I always had wanted to reprise that role, or, in my head have another whack at what would I have done differently. And getting to go reappear in season 5 and reconnect with Ralph Macchio, as an adult, not as a young boy who was inexperienced, mm-hmm. and play the character as a much more nuanced, well-rounded character with an arc was just fantastic.
Yeah. And you and Ralph got along well when you were younger on Karate Kid 3, or?
Yeah, to be honest, other than filming together, we didn't spend time together. Oh. He was extremely busy, but during Cobra Kai, he and Billy Zabka and I were able to spend a lot of time together. And he's a terrific human being. He really is, as is Billy. And I just couldn't be happier for the two of them and all the success that they've achieved, as well as, the big three who created the show, Josh Held,
mm-hmm.
Hayden Schlossberg, and John Hurwitz. Yeah. Terrific people.
Incredible.
Now, you had a pretty big injury, though, filming Karate Kid 3, correct?
I did. I've told this story a lot, so people have heard it, forgive me. But long story short, we'd been filming for about 2 weeks, and we were breaking for the Christmas vacation, and I was having a lot of pain in my left leg, and I thought it was from all the karate I was doing, so I took a lot of aspirin, and Christmas Day in 1988, I passed out in Las Vegas at the Dunes Casino, and
oh my gosh.
I came to, and the EMTs were telling my friend that I was bleeding to death because I had internal bleeding, and the aspirin had exacerbated the bleeding, and I went right into emergency surgery.
Oh my gosh.
And had to, not only fight my way back to stay in the film, but fight my way back into the world, because, they made me sign a document saying they couldn't guarantee they'd save my life. And it was, Missy, that I talk about the entire experience in my book. Yeah. And again, something that was a horrendous experience at the time proved to be one of the most crystallizing experiences of my life, because at least in that moment, it revealed a part of my character that I didn't know existed in me. When you're 22, you think you're immortal, and suddenly when you're faced with your own mortality, and your back's against the wall, you've got two choices. It's fight or succumb.
Wow.
So
it's actually a great segue into the next question. So just based on some of the interviews you've done over the years where you described the production on Karate Kid, you described that it wasn't one of the best production sets to be on. Given the fact that you had such an injury, why did you go back? Secondly, it's a twofold. You also described how you were in the hospital and it took the production company a while to notify your parents. I would have thought that if the production...
they didn't notify my parents.
Wow, that's even worse.
They didn't.
Wow, that's...
Oh my gosh.
That's bad. So...
No, well, I went back because I, even at my young age, recognized that this was winning the lottery. This was the golden ticket, this role. I mean, they probably had 10,000 people try out for this role. And somebody told me years later that Brad Pitt was one of them. I mean, this was a role that everybody in Hollywood at the time was after.
Wow.
And, I was going to be damned if I was going to not finish this movie. And I also, they did call me, but they called me basically to say, look, you got about 10 days to get back to work. And if not, we're going to hire Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son.
Oh, no.
And it really pissed me off.
Wow.
And, I felt that it was incredibly unjust the way I was being treated. And that sense of righteous indignation quickly gave way to being angry. And that anger fomented into being a why that motivated me to get out of bed and start walking around the hospital floor, and eventually, I think it was 3 or 4 days later, had them discharge me against medical advice. And I recuperated for about a week, and then I started training with the guy from the LA Rams. And ultimately, I wound up doing all of my own stunts in the film. And people always say to me, what was the biggest role you've ever had, or most important? And I say it's Karate Kid 3, but it's not for any of the reasons that people think. It really is because I know, I got it from an open call, which there is, like winning the lottery.
Yes.
And then to have it almost taken away and then have to fight to really earn it. It just, there were so many lessons along that journey that I learned that it's a set of experiences that I really value to this day.
So I do have to ask then, after that injury, and you had to train again to, do more after that, especially because it was so devastating. What scenes did you do after that surgery?
Oh, we did the All Valley tournament. The big fight.
So that was after.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I always joke that it's a good thing that I had a black Cobra Kai gi, because I was bleeding through the gi.
Yeah.
My wound was absolutely not healed by that time.
My goodness.
Healing, but
That's incredible. So, when I look at all of your body of work, being on General Hospital as AJ, Deacon Sharp, all of the wonderful things you've done, and you've described, the struggles you had with alcohol, yet you've been able to bounce back. You are a coach. You do motivational speeches. What is your advice for any actors out there? Because it's a very difficult profession, right? Yeah. So one day you can have a role and then you don't work for 10 years. How have you been able to maintain that consistency where you're working constantly? What is the secret to your success?
Well, with me, I may not have always been the most innately talented actor, but I am tenacious. Wow. I'm like a dog with a bone with my career. And, that has really benefited me over the years. Some advice that I would give actors. The first is this. Obviously, you need to prepare yourself by learning to be the best actor that you can be. But where that starts is by becoming the most self-aware human being that you can be, because before you slip into the skin of another actor or another character, you really need to understand who you are and have a strong working understanding of human psychology and behavioralism and motivations and why people do things. And as far as the self-awareness with yourself, that's why I tell people, take a martial art, take gymnastics, study a foreign language, travel as much as you can, read, dance, sing, do whatever, because you never know what you're going to be called upon to play. The other thing too, and this took me a long time to learn this, is you have to learn how to be a meaningfully happy human being when you are not working as an actor. Because if you are only able to, quote unquote, be happy when you're on a set, you're going to be a very frustrated and unhappy individual for a very, very large part of your life. The majority of most actors' lives is the pursuit of work rather than actually working. And it's, a funny thing happened. As soon as I stopped chasing it, it came to me. Wow. Now, that doesn't mean you don't work like hell, but it means that you have a sense of balance in your life, that you know who you are and own your power, and that power is not given to you by somebody who chooses to hire you as an actor. You share it with them when they hire you. But, whether you're, washing dishes, cleaning floors, or starring in a movie, that's something that you always have with you. And what that does is it creates a sense of self-confidence, which eliminates that horrendous cologne of desperation, which hampers so many actors.
Agreed.
Incredible.
So, who inspired you to become an actor?
Well, when I told you I got bullied, my oasis was the movie theater. I could go in the movie theater and hide out. And so my earliest mentors were Clint Eastwood as the outlaw Josie Wales, and Sir Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Sylvester Stallone as Rocky. And, they were my earliest mentors, but they also planted the seeds for me to want to be an actor, because I was just captivated by the visual aspect of, the flickering 30, images on a 30-foot screen. And I think I very early on recognized the communicative power of film. And I was like, that's for me. That's what I want to do.
Incredible. And you talk a lot about mentors, especially in your seminars, things like that. How would someone new in the industry, because you've become one of my mentors, but how would somebody new in the industry get a mentor like that? What would you say?
Well, at the risk of sounding like I'm giving a gratuitous plug, I'm doing my acting seminars on March 9th.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
I consider myself to be in a position of helping younger actors. As an Emmy Award-winning producer and Emmy-nominated actor, I work on both sides of the camera, so it gives me a very unique perspective. So if anyone's interested in that, just go on my Instagram. You'll see the March 9th promo, and just DM me, and I'll get you into it. But here's the thing, you have to be clear what it is that you want from a mentor. It's a reciprocal relationship. And so, find a group of individuals, a list of individuals who have done what it is that you want to accomplish, and approach them and see if they're open to mentoring. Be clear what it is that you want. And then, one of the things I'm a big proponent about is always bring value to every relationship. So you need to ask yourself what value you can bring to the individual who's going to take time out of their schedule to mentor you. It can't be, it needs to be a reciprocal relationship, not a parasitic one. But, most great individuals throughout history had a mentor of one kind or another. Galileo had Aristotle. Bill Gates had Warren Buffett. It's a way of having somebody who has ascended the mountain that you want to ascend, who isn't lifting you up to the top, but can point out the holes in the rocks and the well-worn traps along the way, while still
letting you do the work so that you acquire the experience.
Yes.
Incredible.
Agreed. Because you haven't he's never steered me wrong. I can tell you that. He's given me a lot of great advice on that.
Thank you.
This is actually a great segue into the next question. So, knowing that you've achieved so much, and there's so many people out there who want to do this, has your journey been what you thought it would be? And is it worth it? Is this what you expected?
No, it's never, a journey is never what you expect it to be. Has it been worth it? Absolutely.
It's been amazing having you. We are at the 3-minute mark to wrap up this interview.
Okay.
So if you were to have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
I think you stumped him.
Jesus Christ,
Wow.
Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, and who else? Just to make it spicy, probably Nick Cage.
Ooh,
Whoa,
there you
I
go.
think that'd be an interesting
Love
dinner,
it.
You know?
Wow. Sean, thank you so much for joining
Thank
us
you.
today. It's been incredible having you. What a legendary actor you are. Your resilience. And I really hope everyone goes and listens to this episode on the Discovery Pod YouTube page, or you could listen to us on Google, iHeartRadio, or wherever podcast is available. Again, thank you, Sean, so much.
Thank you
Taking
both for this
time away.
opportunity. I want to wish both of you the best
Thank
and
you.
continued success. And thank you so much to everybody who's watched.
Oh,
Take care. Have a great time.
Thank you so much. And
Thank
folks,
you.
Bye, guys.
You
Bye.
could check Sean out on seankanan.actor.com. Melissa, this has been such an amazing episode to have him. What an incredible person he is.
He is.
He's so humble. You know, the lessons from this, for me specifically, is about the resilience and not giving up on chasing your dreams. Right? And I really hope folks, please listen to us on Apple, Google, wherever the podcast is available, and watch us on the Discovery Pod YouTube page or everichards.com, because this is an inspirational episode with the legendary Sean Kanan. What an inspirational human being.
Isn't it amazing the things he's been through and what he's accomplished and overcome, and determined? He was not going to let anything stop him.
Incredible.
You know, I mean, how many people do you know could be injured the way he was and say, you know what, screw it, I'm still coming back. You're not stopping me. This is not happening. You know, most people, especially with an injury like he had that, you know, he could have died from.
Oh my gosh.
And he still came back and did it. And look at where he's gone from there. I mean, he's gone nothing but higher, you know. It's amazing.
I'm blown away to think that he almost died. And he's talked about some of the problems he had with alcohol.
Yes.
But yet, he found a way to come back.
Yes.
He wanted a better life for his wife. But you know what struck me was when he said in a previous interview that, number one, you've got to do it for yourself.
Yes.
So it's inspirational.
It is.
I love listening to this wonderful stories, and I really hope we are inspiring folks out there. We want to thank our executive producer, Roger Neal.
Yes, absolutely.
For doing an amazing job.
Yes.
Booking such amazing guests.
I-
It's incredible.
I know.
I feel like we're so fortunate to learn from this legendary actors.
Yes, and we definitely have to be at Sean's stand-up comedy,
Of
because I don't know if
course.
you've ever seen any of the clips that he has put on his Instagram
I
page.
have.
And he is hilarious.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, he is so funny. So, you know, definitely have to be there for that, and of course the book.
The book on March 16th. So everyone, you could follow Sean on his Instagram
Yes.
at Sean.Kanan. So that's K, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Discovery Pod with
Discovery Pod.
We've got 5 more minutes to go.
Okay.
Okay.
I was going to tell you
Oh,
to stretch.
Okay.
yeah. So, I've always wanted to meet him in person. And during the process of researching about his life, I almost feel like I know him. And I remember when, you used to visit and you stayed with me and you always talked about, I want you to meet Sean.
Yeah.
And I see why, because I feel inspired by him.
Yes.
And to see how humble he is.
Isn't he, though? I mean, he's amazing. His voice, everything, he just captivates. And his motivation is like no other.
Yes.
I mean, when he talked to my son was ready. He was standing up going, okay, so he told me this, and this, and I'm going to start doing this. And it was amazing because he did. He really started doing everything Sean, gave him the advice to do. Yeah. And here he is, and it's crazy to think because Sean's saying he was 22 when he did Cobra, not Cobra Kai, but Karate Kid 3.
Yeah.
And that's the same age my son is now.
Incredible.
And so I look at my son going, oh my gosh, you're the same age Sean was.
Yeah.
And Sean is now mentoring you,
that's
which I never would have thought.
But
so
remember
it's
what you
insane.
also told me, though, the influence that Sean is having on Jaden, because Jaden moved out,
He did.
right?
He
so
did.
It's great that he has someone like Sean, and considering how busy Sean is, but then he's taking that upon himself to mentor Jaden. So he couldn't ask for a better mentor than Sean. I mean, he's just such an incredible human being. I want to go see him, his comedy show, because
We're going.
Yes,
we're
we
definitely
should.
going to go. We have to. I will always, like I said, I will always support Sean in anything he does because he has been there for me. I mean, it's insane how he will answer the phone.
Oh, incredible.
Or say, no, call me.
Those are the types of people we need in this industry, and he himself said it. And it's something that I've always told you. I don't know if you remember this.
Yes, I do.
When we just became friends, I said, always surround yourself with positive people, because that's what I do for myself.
Yes.
People who uplift you, people who motivate you, people who bring you up rather than bringing you down.
Absolutely.
So this is what I took from that interview as well.
Right.
Right? The power of having great mentors and friendships. It's incredible.
Yes, and especially people that have done what you are setting out to do.
Yes.
And to be able to give you that advice. And like Sean said, not do it for you, but help you, up. Like I always said, I have no problems doing the work.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might just need that direction, go up to the stop sign, take a right.
Yeah.
I can do the rest.
Yeah.
So Sean is like that. He won't do it for you. He will definitely help you, though.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had such an amazing episode today. So I really hope you can go watch us on the Discovery Pod, the Discovery Pod with Eve's YouTube page, or you can listen to us on Google, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple, or wherever the wherever podcast is available. A special thank you to our executive producer, Roger Neal, for producing such an incredible episode.
Thank you, Roger.
And thank you, Sean, for joining us, Melissa. It's been so much fun. Oh my gosh.
Love it. Thank you.
It's I wish we had more time.
This can go on and on all day.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. So
yes,
check us out next time.
Absolutely.
Every Thursday.
Thank you, Eve. I had a blast. Thank you so much.
It was a blast. Let's do it again.
We will do it again. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.